What's up you guys, it's Mike here. So I usually put up how-to videos on YouTube that show people how to improve their skills as Fiverr sellers and ultimately make more money online. Videos like how to create gig thumbnails using Canva or how to pick a niche for your Fiverr gigs based on your skill set. Those are typically the types of videos that I publish. Basically, I try to cover the essentials of what it takes to be a great seller on Fiverr, and I try to put that into bite-sized, easy-to-consume pieces of content for you to watch on YouTube in your spare time and ultimately improve how good of a seller you are and how much money you're making. However, when I'm watching YouTube, the videos I like most are the ones that give an inside look into the day-to-day or week-to-week lives of the YouTubers that I'm watching. It's really cool to get an inside look into how much money these people are making and what exactly they're up to while they're doing what they do and putting out videos that I'm watching of them on YouTube. Because let's face it, if you're watching these videos, it might be hard to imagine what your life would be like when you get to the point where you're making $1,000 per week on Fiverr. It's just hard to imagine. How-to videos are great and you should totally keep watching them, but sometimes it's important to get inspired and motivated to keep doing what you're doing. And if you're someone who's motivated by cold hard cash, this video is definitely for you. So I figured in this video, instead of doing a standard how-to like the other videos I publish on my channel, I'm actually going to go through 1 week of selling on Fiverr in my shoes. I'm going to cover the period from March 4th to March 11th. I'm going to try to go into as much detail as possible, covering the orders that I'm doing, any Fiverr related activities, whether it be messaging buyers, responding to inquiries or completing work, and exactly how much time I'm spending doing all this to give you a full picture of what it's actually like to make $1,000 in 7 days as a seller on Fiverr. One thing that I will mention though is that I do my best to track the exact amount of time I'm spending working on completing each order that I do on Fiverr. However, one thing that I don't track as diligently is how much time I'm spending doing things like messaging prospects or new buyers and things like that. So I'll do my best to guesstimate around how much time I'm spending doing those things based on the volume of messages I'm getting per day. I think I'll be able to get pretty close, but I'm just putting that out there so you understand where these numbers are coming from. Alright, and lastly, before I get into the video, make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel. I had to comb through 7 days of Fiverr messages, orders, and completed projects to do this video. It took a lot of time. So give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and that will motivate me to keep putting out these videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alright, so the first day we're going to be tracking is March 4th, 2020. On most days, before I get into any Fiverr related work, the first thing I always do is respond to any messages that I've received from buyers, current orders, or interested buyers on the platform. I usually get about 5 messages per day, and of those 5, 1 or 2 are usually scammers or people who haven't read my gig properly, and 3 are usually interested buyers or related to orders that I'm currently working on. Usually, I'll have a quick back and forth with each buyer or prospect. I try to keep these conversations as short and to the point as quickly as possible. It's really important to me that I'm minimizing the amount of time I'm spending with tire kickers or buyers who might not really be interested. When I first started on Fiverr, I was wasting way too much time messaging prospective buyers that were turning into nothing. I was spending about an hour to an hour and a half a day, and that is not what I want to be doing with my time. That's not a good use of my time. So to respond to about 3 or 5 messages a day, it usually takes me about 15 minutes of back and forth before I fully explain, the scope of my services, how I might be able to help, and put in a quick close there to try to get them as a customer. After I've responded to all the outstanding messages I have, I'll get started on the order that has the next closest due date in my queue. Usually I'll spend 5 to 10 minutes reviewing the order requirements, checking out the prospect's website, and doing any research I need to do to complete the project for them. On this particular day, I only had 1 order to complete. It was a $90 order, so I cleared $72 after Fiverr took its cut, and it only took me 20 minutes to complete. They were really thorough in their gig requirements, so I didn't really have to do any reviewing. So that one was pretty great. And these 2 things were all I really did on March 4th. So I completed that order and responded to messages. In total, I netted $72 and spent 45 minutes of total time on Fiverr related activities. Alright, so now moving forward to March 5th, 2020. On this day, I had a ton of interest in my Fiverr inbox, so I spent quite a bit of time responding to messages. The first thing I did was I spent about 20 minutes going back and forth with one of my repeat buyers. We were working out details around a custom order for an upcoming project they wanted me to work on. It took about 20 minutes. We ultimately came to an agreement. I sent them a custom offer, which they ended up accepting. So that was 20 minutes of time. I also had a bunch of other messages from new buyers that wanted to work with me. I spent about 40 minutes going back and forth with them before I resolved all the questions or things they wanted to talk about. I also had a lot of orders I needed to complete. But I just spent an hour going back and forth messaging buyers. I was kind of drained and I really didn't feel like doing any work that day. So I delayed the orders and push them off. This is actually one of the things I really love about Fiverr. I do it in my spare time, I do it to improve my writing, and I do it to make extra money. I never want to be a slave to a website like Fiverr. So it's really cool that I have the flexibility to stretch my delivery timelines for different orders based on how busy or not busy I want to be on a particular week. So on this day, I decided to push the orders off and I'd complete them the next day. Most of my gigs have 7 to 10 day delivery timelines. So in this case, most of the gigs I had weren't due until later that week or even the week after. So I felt okay pushing them off till tomorrow. So to summarize March 5th, I spent a total of 1 hour on Fiverr related activities and I didn't do any orders, so I made $0 for that day. Alright, so flash forward to March 6th. You remember how I said I didn't do any work on March 5th because I wasn't feeling like it? Well, on March 6th, I was starting to feel the heat. Orders were piling up and I really thought to myself, I should prioritize getting a couple of these done today. So as always, I started the day by responding to the messages I had in my inbox. I only spent about 10 minutes on this day responding to new buyers. Next, I got started on the first order of the night. This person had ordered a $130 gig from me. They were a clothing line and they wanted help with some of their marketing. This person didn't speak English very well, so I had to spend about 20 minutes reviewing their order requirements, reviewing their website, and just generally getting my bearings for what they wanted from me. I spent 20 minutes doing that and then it took me another 20 minutes to complete the order for them. This buyer ended up tipping me $36.80. I know it's a weird number, but it brought the order total up to $166.80. After Fiverr's cut, I was left with $133.44. Alright, the next order of the night was a $90 order out of one of my repeat customers out of Europe. They needed some website content and I was already super familiar with their business. So I completed the order in 20 minutes and netted $72 after Fiverr's cut. Next order was for a food services business. It was a $90 order. They needed me to do some outreach for some of their produce lines. It was 90 bucks, took me 15 minutes to complete, and I netted $72 after everything. The next two orders were ordered by companies who ordered my most basic package that I offer on Fiverr. This package I sell for 35 bucks. I did both of them and each took me 10 minutes to complete. So after completing them, I netted $28 each after Fiverr takes their 20%. Alright, so the total tally for March 6th was 5 orders completed, $333.44, and an hour and a half of work spent on Fiverr related activities. Alright, next up is March 7th. March 7th was a Saturday. I was feeling pretty good about the amount of work I got done the night before, so I decided to take it easy, take a break from Fiverr, and just relax for the day. You know, this is also one of the reasons I love Fiverr. I don't want to be a slave, and if I'm getting a lot of work done and being productive, I'm okay with taking a rest day as long as I don't have any orders coming up. So me and my girlfriend decided we wanted to go skiing. We jumped in the car, grabbed some breakfast, and headed to the ski hill. It was an awesome day. I came home, relaxed, did nothing Fiverr related, and did 0 orders. So on the 7th, I did 0 orders, spent 0 time on Fiverr, and just had a great day. Alright, on March 8th, the procrastination continued. I decided I wasn't going to do any work. I was feeling good, but I was feeling a little lazy and didn't really want to get up and, do a bunch of Fiverr work on a Sunday. So I spent about 15 minutes going back and forth responding to messages that I was getting in from interested buyers, and then I went bowling with my girlfriend. Here's a picture of that. We had a blast. I didn't do any projects and I felt okay about it. The orders were piling up though, so I knew that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and beyond, I'd really need to buckle down and get some stuff done. So the totals for March 8th were 15 minutes spent of Fiverr time and $0 earned because I didn't do any orders that day. Alright, next up was Monday, March 9th. I love Mondays. Like most things in life, I think Mondays is a great day to get started and really, put the bright foot forward to get a good, productive week going. And that goes with Fiverr too. On Mondays, I usually try to get a little bit more aggressive with buyers that I've been going back and forth with over the past week. It's a great day to really comb through the messages and get aggressive trying to close new business. What I'll usually do is skim through all the open conversations that I still have ongoing with some buyers, and I'll just send them custom offers based on what we've been talking about. I find that sometimes if you're going back and forth with a buyer and they're not sure, they're going back on price, sometimes when you send them an order, they'll just accept it and give you a shot. I find this works about 10% of the time. So I spend a little bit of time doing this on Mondays. So on a Monday, I'll probably spend about 10 minutes just quickly combing through my open conversations and sending out custom offers to buyers that I think might bite. So I also get a lot of new interest on Mondays. So usually between 5 and 10 messages. So So after I send out any custom offers that I think I could send for a quick close, I'll go through the list of open messages that I have, respond, and I usually spend about 25 minutes going back and forth with buyers doing this. Next, I had an order to complete. This was from my repeat customers, so I spent about 5 minutes going through the requirements, and I netted $104 from this order after Fiverr's fees. This order took me 25 minutes to complete, plus the 5 minutes going through the requirements. I had one more order to complete for another one of my regulars. It was a $40 order. It took me about 10 minutes to complete, and I netted $32. All right, so to tally up all the stuff I did on the 9th, I netted $136 after Fiverr fees and spent an hour on Fiverr related activities. All right, moving on to March 10th. So March 10th was a very interesting day. Normally, when I get an order from a brand new buyer, it takes me a little bit of extra time going through their requirements, checking their website, and doing my research because I don't know them and I've never worked with them before. However, on this day, I received a bunch of new orders from buyers in industries that I had done projects in before. Over the last couple of weeks, I had banged out projects related to all these industries, so the research that I had done for the past clients was still fresh in my mind. So I was pretty confident that I'd be able to get through these orders pretty quickly, and I was really stoked about that. But first, I spent 5 minutes responding to open messages I had before getting into the orders. The first order was a $130 order for a nursing home. It's weird, you'd think that nursing homes aren't exactly the type of organizations that would turn to Fiverr to get work done, with the elderly, but I guess the people running them are pretty young. So I spent 25 minutes completing this order and netted $104 after Fiverr fees. The next order was for a food delivery app out of Asia. Food delivery apps are super common startups that are coming to me and I'm sure other buyers on Fiverr lately. So it took me about 15 minutes to complete and I netted $72. The next order was for a multi-level marketing company. In my mind, I think pyramid scheme, and these types of orders are always hilarious. They're funny because normally the person reaching out to you for work doesn't even really know what they sell. So they placed an order for my most basic gig package, which I charged $35 for. I banged this order out in 5 minutes. They needed an About Us page written for a company they didn't even fully understand themselves. Took me 5 minutes and I netted $28. So the 10th of March was a pretty great day. I made $204 and only spent 50 minutes on Fiverr related activities. That's a good day. All right, so the next day that we're gonna be talking about is March 11th, and this is the last day in the 1 week period that we're tracking in this video. By this time, Wednesday, I was getting a lot of orders piling up from my efforts sending out custom offers and responding to buyers from Monday and Tuesday. So a lot of orders were piling up, but given that my delivery window is usually 7 to 10 days, I wasn't really in much of a rush to do much work because most of them were due later in the week or next week. But I didn't really have anything going on that night, so I fired up my computer and decided I'd spend a few hours working on Fiverr projects because why not be productive on a day where I have nothing to do? The first order was for a property management company out of the UK. It was a $250 order, which is awesome and higher than what I usually get. You'd think that because the order value was higher, it would take me more time to complete, but this isn't really true, and I'll tell you why. I create a lot of gig extras that people can purchase when checking out my gigs. These gig extras focus on adding a lot of added value to orders. Things like consulting, I'll include some tips and industry best practices, or just some general advice around the project that I'm doing for them. These are things that don't take any time for me to do because they just come from experience and knowledge of an industry, but they offer a lot of value to buyers. So this person ended up checking out my $130 package and adding a bunch of extras to the order, bringing it up to $250. This is a perfect situation. So after spending 10 minutes reviewing this order's requirements, I got started on the work, and it took me 25 minutes to complete, and I netted $200. This is a dream order. As I was completing that last order, I was getting a bunch of noises from my phone. It turns out that one of the buyers that I had messaged earlier in the week had proceeded and checked out one of my gigs. This order was for my most basic package. It was 35 bucks, but they added expedited delivery. So that's a 1-day turnaround, and it brought the order total up to $70. I spent 10 minutes reviewing the gig requirements, and it took me another 10 minutes to complete the order. I netted $56, piece of cake. At this point, I put in just under an hour of actual Fiverr work time, 55 minutes. I'd made quite a bit of money comparative to what I normally make on a daily basis, and I was getting a little bit bored. I've been watching The Outsider, that Stephen King adaptation on HBO, and it was on my mind and I really couldn't keep myself from getting away from the computer. So I decided to call it quits and go watch the show. I made $256 that night and spent 55 minutes actually doing the work. Not too shabby at all. Alright, so if you made it this far, that's what 7 days can look like as a seller on Fiverr. I'm a level 2 seller, and in that 7-day period, I made just over $1,000. In summary, I spent 5 hours and 15 minutes over the last 7 days, or the 7 days we're talking about in this period, and I netted $1,001.44. That is awesome. Now, I'm not gonna pretend like this is a normal week for me. Over the last year selling on Fiverr, an average week is usually about 2 hours of work and anywhere between $400 and $500 earned. So $1,000 and 5 hours work is a really awesome week. So it's great and it's possible. I'm not trying to say that this is normal. However, Fiverr's been really picking up as a business. Their stock's been doing great, even despite everything that's going on, and they're growing as a company. So I wouldn't be surprised if weeks like this become more and more normal. So I hope this video is motivating to you to get started on Fiverr, to build your brand, focus on delivering quality work and doing a great job, and you very well could be at this point too in a year. Or quicker, who knows? It all depends on you and what you're selling. So yeah, that's what a week can look like. I really hope this video is motivating to you. I don't want to make any promises, but it's just proof that if you work your butt off like I have for the last year, optimize your process and your workflow, deliver great work, deliver quality, and most importantly, add value to your buyers on Fiverr, you can get to the point where you're making $1,000 per week or more, and that's a fantastic side income or full-time income, regardless of who you are. So thanks again for watching. If you haven't by this point, make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel. This video took a lot of time to put together, and I want to keep putting together videos like this. So give me a little pat on the back and like the video. Thanks again. Cheers.